Do you know what's common between the debuts of Kurt Angle, Lita, and Trish Stratus? It is that none of them came during an episode of Raw or even SmackDown. They debuted on a show called Sunday Night Heat. Some of the young viewers might not be aware of it, but it was quite a thing back in the day. WWE has produced a lot of TV shows, but none of them have come close to Raw and SmackDown. However, there was a time when WWE began taking newly produced shows seriously. Sunday Night Heat, or simply Heat, was one of them. The show's purpose was to supplement Monday Night Raw and further the storylines that took place during the show. Other than that, the show allowed the mid-carders to get extra TV time. Believe it or not, the show has produced some memorable segments that you must not be aware of. That's why I'm here today to give you a dose of what Sunday Night Heat used to be like back in the day. Let's get into it. The Rock vs. Mankind Empty Arena Match. If The Rock is known for anything, it is that he, alongside Stone Cold Steve Austin, is responsible for transcending the business during the Attitude Era. He has been in excellent feuds with the likes of Steve, Mankind, and Triple H. When it comes to his feud with Mankind, the two produced magic, and this match is proof of that. On the January 31st episode of Heat in 1999, The Rock and Mankind faced off against each other in an unusual stipulation, an empty arena match. This particular show was billed as Halftime Heat, as it was supposed to combat the halftime show of Super Bowl 33. It was a unique spectacle that saw both men having a 17-minute brawl. The two fought all over the place, including Titus O'Neil's favorite place, the catering. Just kidding. Mankind ended up pinning The Rock to win the WWE Championship. Usually when WWE tries to compete with a major show in an attempt to secure good ratings, it often ends up failing miserably. However, this match was a major success as it scored an incredible 6.6 rating, which is unheard of these days. And, speaking of great matches, RVD vs. Mr. Perfect. If some of you guys have been watching the product for a long period of time, you guys must have heard about Mr. Perfect. Not only that, you guys must have also heard of how great of a wrestler that man was, and how his work as a heel has inspired the current generation of wrestlers. When he returned to the company in 2002 during the Royal Rumble match, he had a great showing. It felt as if he hadn't lost a step and could still go inside the squared circle. He had short feuds with different stars, but the one that stood out has to be with RVD. I don't know if you guys remember, but RVD was hands down the hottest star in all of pro wrestling that year. He was getting loud reactions and he was putting on excellent matches. The match between RVD and Mr. Perfect on the March 19th episode of Heat in 2002 was a great blend of old school wrestling with modern day wrestling. The match was short, but still, it was a great treat for the fans who got to witness Mr. Perfect performing at the same level as the current stars. It's all about the game. Sit-down interviews these days can be boring and dull. They used to be great back in the day. This one is the best of the best, and this was the segment where Triple H called himself The Game for the very first time. In a sit-down interview with Jim Ross in the July 25th edition of Heat, Triple H held nothing back and cut a passionate promo about not getting the same amount of respect as guys like Stone Cold, The Rock, and The Undertaker. Triple H would target stars who called themselves the students of the game, but Hunter made it clear, he was the game. While it may have been short, Triple H made every second feel important. From that moment on, Hunter was always referred to as The Game. It worked out well for him as he went on to have great feuds with The Rock and Mankind, and became one of the best heels WWE has ever produced. Kurt Angle's debut. If the management is high on a major new signee, WWE would make sure that the upcoming superstar debuts on one of its major TV shows. However, WWE has presented us with debuts on shows like Heat that ended up becoming major players in this industry. Kurt Angle's debut was one of them. Kurt must have had a lot of pressure on him considering he was the first Olympic gold medalist that appeared in WWE. Kurt debuted on the March 7th episode of Heat, where he stopped Tiger Ali Singh from disrespecting the American flag. Typical Vince booking, right? While he would go on to have much better feuds, little did any of the viewers know at the time that they were witnessing a future Hall of Famer. Kurt Angle would have a career of a lifetime when he proved to the entire world of how great of a pro wrestler he was. Matches against Shawn Michaels and Stone Cold Steve Austin have cemented Kurt as one of the best WWE superstars ever. However, Kurt wasn't the only legend to have had his debut on Heat. The debut of Trish Stratus and Lita. Trish Stratus and Lita are two of the biggest female stars in the history of this profession. The two have had a great career, especially during a time when women's wrestling was not a major priority. The two utilized every single opportunity that was handed to them, and the women made sure that they got the most out of every opportunity. Despite all their successes, their debuts may have come across as uneventful to many. Trish debuted on the March 19th episode in 2000, where she accompanied Test and Prince Albert. Remember that? Yeah, me neither. On the other hand, Lita was paired with luchador Essa Rios. They made their debut on the February 13th episode in 2000. I believe many of you didn't even know that. Trish and Lita both went on to do very great things, but very different as well. Lita was paired with the Hardy Boys later on to form Team Extreme, and she became a fan favorite immediately. In the mid-2000s, Lita was aligned with Edge, and the two were the main highlight of WWE programming for a lengthy period. Just like Lita, Trish also saw a massive success, and the woman got better in the ring every time she got to perform. The company was high on Trish as she went on to become a 7-time WWE Women's Champion. Even to this day, Trish can put on great matches, and her recent work with Becky Lynch is strong proof of that. Heat may not be remembered as a monumental show of the past, but it will still be remembered as a show that introduced us to two talented women. That's all for today. Do you guys remember watching Sunday Night Heat? If you do, what are some of your favorite moments from the show? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to subscribe for more.